This is Ben Workentine. I'm sitting here with Dr. John Parlow. You may know him, but if you're new to our podcast, he might be new to your ears. But he is at Men of His Word presenting and wanted to just talk about your topic for today.
Sure. Nice to be here, Anthony. Good to see you as always. And Ben,
Yeah.
it's good to see you too, I guess. But
That's love, everyone, right
that's
there.
love. That's right there. That's as loving as I get. No, I'm here. It's really a privilege to be here every year. And here at Oshkosh, and they also have one in Rochester, Minnesota,
yeah, that's
which
right.
is, if you get a chance to go to either one or both, it's really worth it.
Yeah.
What I get a chance to present on today is entitled "Stop Living in the 20th Century."
This sounds like something right up your alley.
Yeah, and it's the idea of that. Know the times in which you live. I always think of the passage in the Old Testament when you're reading your Old Testament, Second Chronicles, I think it's First Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32, where it talks about a list of tribes that are in Israel, and it has the men of Issachar. About 200 of them are identified there, and their chief characteristic is they're men who knew the times and knew what Israel should do. And I think that's valuable for us in 21st century ministry to understand, okay, you got to understand your times, because the method of delivery for God's word may change or may have to change, or in some cases must change, but the message, of course, never changes. And so let's take a look at our culture. It is different even than 10 years ago.
Sure.
Certainly for many pastors like myself out there that are well over in 30 years of ministry, it is greatly different. So
Yeah.
it gives us an opportunity to kind of walk through that. I made this presentation a little more interactive so that people can learn from others, because we have different ministry fields.
Yeah.
You could be in a suburban area, an urban area, a rural area, and yet I would argue that technology connects a lot of that together. One of the things I'll be talking about, the fact is, the people you're dealing with and the people you're trying to share Jesus with are digital natives, meaning that's all they've ever known. And that has a lot of ramifications, both in personal relationships as well as professional.
Excellent. Can you put some meat on those bones a little bit? Give us an example, either a negative thing that churches tend to live in the past on, or the positive things that are kind of forward-thinking, future-leaning, that are new opportunities for the Jesus follower of the
I would
church.
say this. I would encourage all of us to, no matter which mission field we're in, to leverage more technology. Use paper less, and electronics more, because you get instant communication to your people. You can communicate more often. You don't have to worry about mailings and snail mail or the U.S. postal system. But that's the way they do. They're used to looking at emails or texts or websites. And for example, at St. Mark Ministries, as you know, we don't mail out a newsletter monthly.
Right.
We do a video.
Yeah.
And we just send it out, and we just sent it out to over 1,300, almost 1,400 people. And we get about a little more than half open it up. So we think that's pretty good. Now, that's in the first week they open it up. Some open it up a little later. But it's a means of communication, and I think it's much better. And I would say probably quicker, certainly, than just traditional ways. That's one of the ways. With people who grew up in the digital world, understand a church that doesn't take advantage of that is looked at as maybe like a factory with no electricity.
Yeah.
And as much as you say, well, that's not the way it should be, that's the way it is.
Yeah. Excellent. So what's something you're working on that you're excited to, or something you're excited to hear about here at this conference?
I'm going to go to one conference which just talks about when the world hates you, how do you respond to that? Jared Oldenburg's doing that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go listen to what's the Wells going to look like
in
100 years. As President Mark Schrader is going to talk about that.
Yeah.
That I think would be interesting, especially juxtaposed with mine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I would say offhand, I don't know. It depends on if we really embrace the culture in which God has now placed us to lead people to Him. So if we don't, and if we still continue to, what I always say, boldly lead people into the 1850s or maybe 1950s, I don't know. We have this wonderful, precious gem called the gospel, and I think sometimes all of us can do this, myself included, get kind of stuck in what you're comfortable doing, especially when it comes to the delivery system of that message. And I think sometimes because we get stuck and we make personal preferences canon law, we miss opportunities to have, an opportunity to have a conversation with people that changes their eternity.
Yeah. I thought it was, you said things have changed even from 10 years ago. And I think for every Christian, we almost need to feel like foreign missionaries going in and really looking at our culture objectively and saying, what are some of the things, the zeitgeist that is moving, and let's address those.
Absolutely. I mean, you can just talk about what others have, and that is it's a post-Christian, post-modern, post-truth culture where people often say, well, it's not your truth, it's my truth, or whatever, your truth isn't mine. And once you start using those descriptors, there's no such thing as truth, because if your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth, there's no truth.
Yeah.
Then anything goes, and there are no opportunities at all.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thanks for your time, John. Sure appreciate you stopping by.